What we've got here is the wiring for the engine control panel that sits back in the engine compartment on a 911. So it's a lot different than a 912. So I'm going to show how this all gets wired up. Starting at the top, this is a red with a white, and what it does is it goes from the fuel pump relay to this terminal block. So this is a new terminal block, but it goes in there, and I'll go over that here in a minute with an actual control relay, or a control panel that's got all the stuff on it. These two guys are grounds. They ground the control panel to the car, to the body. This one also goes to the body ground, but it goes to the fuel pump relay. This little guy goes from the ballast resistor, it goes to number 16, and I'll show that in a minute, and then it goes over to the coil. Now, on some of these, on mine, the coil connection is a spade. Some of them are just a little bolt with a stud sticking up. So if you buy one of these from me, I'll ship you the other one, but I put the spade on there just because that's what I'm familiar with. So if you need the little connector kind of like this, but well, actually it's this size. So it's this one. If you need that on there, I'll include it with it, and you can just cut it and put it on. I'll also include the heat shrink. And then, so the next one, this guy right here, so it goes to the ballast resistor, also to number 15, but there's a few things that are going on here. It goes, ultimately what happens here is that this goes to the ballast resistor. Like I said, this other shared one here comes in, or gets a wire that comes in from the main harness that goes to fuse number 1 on the fuse panel up front. It goes to the unfused, it's a red wire. So it's what sends power back to the engine compartment. It goes in there, and then on the other side, and you'll see it in a minute, like I said, it connects to the fuel pump. So that guy does a bunch of stuff. Then this one right here, it goes from the number 16 on the ballast resistor. So there's two number 16s on the ballast resistor, and then it goes to the fuel pump relay over here. All right, let's put all this on a panel. Here's a very original panel. As you can see, it's completely unrestored. So I'm going to take a couple of things off here just so that we can see this easier. I'm going to get the coil out of the way if I can. You'll see on my coil, they've got the spade connectors on there. All right, so now we're starting to, you can see some stuff here. So you've got your ballast resistor, you got your voltage regulator, you got your fuel pump relay, and then your fuel pump. So let's just start with, let's go ahead and take this off. This is the cover to the ballast resistor. And I'll try to get a close-up of this, and you'll see what's on here. So hopefully you can see that. Right there is a 15. Let me get a pen. Right there's a 15. That's a 16, and that's a 16. So why they got two 16s on there, I don't know, but that's what you got. So when I talk about 15 and the top 16 and the middle 16, you know what I'm talking about. So that's what the inside of the ballast resistor looks like. If you see the WECO connector on this guy, your red would come in here. So, and then on the 912, I just want to say, so the wiring harness on the 912 and 911, they're the same, except for this stuff. And on the 912, the red goes directly to the coil, but on the 911, it goes right here. So there's the inside of your ballast resistor. These wires, so a couple of things going on here. I just want to mention that all the wires that I use on my panel wiring it's TFSL wire. So it's a military grade wire. Stuff is awesome. I love it. You can bend it and it holds exactly the shape that you bend it. And it's got great heat resistance, chemical resistance. It's just great stuff. So everything that I put on these it's the TFSL wire. So let's just start here. So the first one goes in here, and I do want to say these are a little hard. They're not a little, they're actually a lot hard to get out of here. So I'll try to take one out. But there's a bushing on the original one. And you just got to wiggle it and wiggle it, wiggle it. And it'll finally come out. And then you would just run your new one in there. And run it in there. And then you would crimp it down. Like so. and you have it like that. All of these are going to be done this way, but the top one is the curly Q wire that goes over to the coil. And then the next one, the second 16, so the top one is a 16, lay that like that, maybe that'll help. I don't know if you can see that or not. The next one is goes in here, and it comes under the panel, goes through that hole, and it comes over to the relay, and it comes to the top connection right here on the relay all the way on the left. Then the next wire is the one with the Weco on it. So you can see this has got the Weco, so that one would run in like so, run down like that, and you plug it in like that. All right, then your fuel pump, it's got its power wire coming over, and it would hook into that other side of that Weco. So that's how that one hooks up. So you've got the curly Q, you've got the one with just the tinned on it, the end wire tinned, and then it goes to the relay, and then you got the one that goes to the Weco. So we'll get some of this stuff out of the way. So we've finished that one, and of course we've finished this one. Go ahead and pull that guy back out. And we'll put the original one just back in for good measure. I am not ready to do anything with this control board yet. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take this this guy off just to get it out of the way, and we'll show you how a couple of ground wires go on. All right, get that over there. Okay, so you can see this one. So this ground wire right here comes up through this hole, all right, and it comes underneath to right here. So it comes to that relay, or that spot on the relay, which I think is number 85. I don't have a diagram handy, but I'm pretty sure that's 85. I can't see anymore, but there's markings under here, like all the Porsche relays are marked under here. So, but it goes to the stud over here and it grounds, okay, so like that. And then here's what I was talking about earlier. This factory ground has this cool little flags connector. To save my life, I could not find them anywhere. I don't know where Porsche. I even tried to modify them and everything. So mine don't look exactly the way they did from the factory, but they're pretty darn close. I found some really cool braided wire that's got a piece inserted in it, so it's not a flat braided wire like you know, for a normal ground strap. So it looks really, really close to the original. But it would, those guys would go on there like so. Okay, and then they ground underneath here. So there's another connection right here. And you could also run one, so one would go here, and then the other one would go over to the ground spade that's on the firewall. So there's a terminal right there if we were in the engine compartment. So that's that. Then the last one that I wanted to talk about is the white, or I'm sorry, red with white. And it goes to this connection. So it would go over here to the terminal junction. So this is an original. Well, they all crack, but there's a new one. And then you would just put it on there, and then it's going to go to this connection right here. So one of the 3051s. So it's going to go right there. So it's going to look like that. So end up having a little bit of a mess here, and but that's the way you wire it up. I hope that helps somebody. If you have any questions, you can always email me. I'll respond. So there you go.